ಲಿಂಕ್ ಚೆಕ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಮೊಬೈಲಲ್ಲಿ. So hello guys, welcome to Mentora and good morning everyone. How are you guys? Good. Where did we stop yesterday? Keystone species. Okay. So keystone andre it is a main stone in an arch. If you remove that stone, the entire arch will collapse. Removing any other stone in the arch will not make much difference, but removing this particular stone will make a huge difference in the arch. Okay. Similarly, there are some species which are called as keystone species. Okay. They are not abundant in number, or they are not very large in number. They might not be very large in number. Okay. But their removal, their absence in an ecosystem makes a huge difference, and removal of them will lead to the entire collapse of the ecosystem. They are called as keystone species. Okay. Now if you look into this, okay, this is a keystone, as I saw, this is a keystone. Okay. So if you remove this, the arch will collapse. That is the key, that is the stone which is holding the entire structure together. Okay. I gave you an example of tiger, right? Tiger is a keystone species. Why? If you remove tiger from its ecosystem, the herbivorous animals, the animal which are the food for the tiger will increase in number, they will get overpopulated. So what is the role of tiger in the ecosystem? To keep the population of herbivorous animals who he feeds on grasses in check. Okay. So overpopulated herbivorous animals, overgrazing of grasses, exposure of soil, erosion, and the loss of fertility in that area, which leads to desertification. Okay, that area becomes barren, desert. Okay. Now another example is a bird called as blue jays. Cynocytta cristata anta idra hesaru, the scientific name. There is a bird called as blue jays. So this blue jays lives in oak forest. Okay. So you can see the bird here, this is blue jays. Okay. So what it is holding in its mouth is seed of the oak tree. ಯಾವುದೇ ಒಂದು ಫಾರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಜನರೇಟ್ ಆಗಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ರೀಜನರೇಟ್ ಆಗಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ, so when you call regeneration, so if anything has to be regenerated, it has to undergo certain process. ಏನು process? First there should be pollination. Pollination ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ the flower will get fertilized, so the ovary will convert into seeds, the flower will convert into fruits, so the fruits are eaten by plants, animals, birds, and the seeds get dispersed. Seed dispersal admele it will germinate and it will grow into a new tree. This process is called regeneration. Okay, that is how the forest resource maintain itself. What is forest resource? Is it renewable or non-renewable? Renewable, non-renewable resources artha agatala. You'll understand the difference between the renewable resources and non-renewable. What is the difference? Renewable andre eshte use ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಿ, it won't get exhausted. Non-renewable andre, if you keep on utilizing it, it gets exhausted alva. That is the difference between renewable and non-renewable. Forest renewable or non-renewable, ಏನು ಅನ್ಸುತ್ತೆ? ರಿನ್ಯೂಯಬಲ್. ಆಯ್ತು, ಒಂದು ಫಾರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅದನ್ನ ಕಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಬಿಲ್ಡಿಂಗ್ ಕಟ್ಟಿ, non-renewable. Then how come some forests are more than 5,000 years old? Both. Option C, both. See, forest comes under a very special category, conditionally renewable. Conditionally renewable ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ human should not enter, let it regenerate on its own. Regeneration andre ade pollination agi, there are so many agents in the nature which pollinates the trees, and those trees will get renewed by seed dispersal. ಹೊಸದು ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ಹಳೇದು ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ, ಹೊಸದು ಬರ್ತಾ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಹಳೇದು ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ. They'll keep on regenerating unless there is any anthropogenic intervention. Human should not intervene. Till then it is renewable. Once the human intervenes, then we are known to create magic, we are known to exhaust everything. Okay, anyways, so the seeds of oak tree are so hard. Our seed coat ಎಷ್ಟು hard ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ naturally ಅವು disperse ಆಗಿ ನೆಲಕ್ಕೆ ಬಿದ್ದರೆ it won't germinate. Hard seed coat, it has to get smoothened. ಆ ಸ್ಮೂಥನಿಂಗ್ ಹೆಂಗಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ these blue jays will consume that seed, it passes through its tract, and it will come out, it will get smoothened out, and only then it will regenerate. Oak forest to regenerate ಆಗಬೇಕು ಅಂದ್ರೆ it has to go through the blue jays for regeneration. Okay, so it has been happening since many million years, since the evolution. That is the reason oak forest is there and blue jays is also there. Mutualistic relationship, blue jays gets food in the form of seeds, oaks gets regeneration. You can write this example even in your mutualism relationship. Now if we experimentally, just for experiment, if you take out the blue jays from the oak forest, ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ? The seeds won't germinate. Oak trees, ಏನೇನು tree ಇದೆಯೋ already, they will die after certain age. ಹೊಸ ಟ್ರೀಸ್ ಯಾವುದು ಜರ್ಮಿನೇಟ್ ಆಗಲ್ಲ. ಹೊಸ ಟ್ರೀ ಜರ್ಮಿನೇಟ್ ಆಗಲಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದರೆ slowly the trees will start reducing, the forest becomes open, the other organisms cannot survive, they will migrate or they will get, they will die, they will get extinct. So the entire forest will collapse. Khadam, mugitu, ಏನು ಇರಲ್ಲ, it will become a desert just by removing one small bird from the ecosystem. That's why blue jays is called as keystone species. Okay, so there are few more examples. Say, what is this? Okay, it's called sea otter. Sea otter feeds on, what is this? Sea urchins. Sea urchins are like the herbivorous animals. They are the primary, secondary consumers. Okay, so sea urchins, sorry, they are primary consumers. Sea urchins feeds on a kind of plant which grows in water bodies called kelp. ಚಿಕ್ಕ ಚಿಕ್ಕ ಗ್ರಾಸ್ ತರ, ನಮ್ಮ ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಗ್ರೌಂಡ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಟೆರೆಸ್ಟ್ರಿಯಲ್ ಏರಿಯಾದಲ್ಲಿ ಗ್ರಾಸಸ್ ಬೆಳೆಯುತ್ತಲ್ಲ, ಅದೇ ತರ ಒಂದು ಗ್ರೀನ್ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ ಬೆಳೆಯುತ್ತೆ ನೀರಲ್ಲಿ, and that green plant is called as kelp, and kelps are eaten by sea urchins. And this very relaxing animal, sea otter, would love to eat urchins. ಅದು ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ಅರ್ಚಿನ್ ತಿಂತಾ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. Okay, so backstroke, swimming ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು, okay, they are present. The presence of this sea otter will keep the population of sea urchins in check. And if sea urchins are in check, ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗಲಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ kelps will be there. And if we remove this sea otter accidentally, the sea urchin population ಎಷ್ಟು ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ they will entirely eat up the kelp, ಮುಗಿಸ್ಬಿಡ್ತವೆ. And if kelp is gone, then there is no primary productivity. Other organisms will not have any food to eat, so the entire aquatic ecosystem will collapse. Okay, now you tell me about this. Okay, civil engineers. Okay, so it is a beaver, and what do they construct? They construct beaver dams. ನದಿ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇರುತ್ತಲ್ಲ, ಆ ನದಿಲಿ ಅಡ್ಡವಾಗಿ ಡ್ಯಾಮ್ ಕಟ್ತವೆ. They'll construct this. These are like thing. They are better than present day some civil engineers. ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ everybody will start trolling me. Not all. Some civil engineers, okay, ಅವ್ರಿಗಿಂತ better. They build wonderful dam. Once they build a dam, if the sea is the rivers are going like this, they'll construct a dam. Okay. So it will create a kind of wetland. So this wetland is a place where lot of fishes will survive, lot of birds will come, lot of other animals, the entire aquatic food chain will establish. And beaver does it because it needs food. It is creating a wetland so that it can eat the food. So that wetland is an ecosystem. If you remove the beaver from the ecosystem, there is no one to construct the dam, no wetlands, no that entire wetland ecosystem which was supposed to be there will collapse. It will not just construct. ಅವಾಗ ಡ್ಯಾಮೇಜ್ ಆದಾಗ ರಿಪೇರು ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. It keeps on repairing, keeps on rebuilding. Okay, so that is what is the thing. This is called as keystone species. Okay, so write down this few lines regarding this. Yeah. A keystone species is a species keystone species is a species that has disproportionate effect, that has disproportionate effect on its environment, relative to its abundance. Relative to its abundance. Its abundance is not huge or its size is not huge, but it plays such a role which is disproportionate. It has huge effect on its ecosystem. Okay, write down. Such an organism plays a role in its ecosystem that is analogous to analogous or similar analogous to keystone in an arch. Keystone in an arch. A small impact or experimental removal or experimental removal of keystone species could cause major disruption for the entire ecosystem for the entire ecosystem and may lead to collapse of the ecosystem. Collapse of the ecosystem. Okay, that is what is called as keystone species. Example, you can write tiger in a grassland, tiger, blue jays. Artha aitala how it plays. What happens when we remove the keystone species? You should be a keystone species in the society. Okay, so people should think that if this person is not there, then the entire society will collapse. Okay, try to become a keystone species. Hey, say there is an elephant. If you remove the elephant from its forest, then what will happen? Okay, well, what will it do? Okay, okay, yeah, definitely. Like elephants in savannah, African savannah, it can be a keystone. That's another role which they play. Okay, if they are not there, then the seed dispersal will be impacted. Good. Okay, nice, wonderful. Now, okay, sea otter, then beaver, blue jays. Okay. Fig tree is a keystone species. Explain. To consume food. Okay. Yeah. So if there is no fig tree in the ecosystem, then a lot of animals will die out of hunger. They play a role of being a producer. Okay. All right. UPSC Prelims 2013 question. Which one of the following terms describes not only the physical space occupied by an organism, but also its functional role in a community of organisms? Who says A? B? C? D? Okay, yeah, good. So the answer is ecological niche. Okay, say again, like you pronounce it however you want, but spelling should be N-I-C-H-E. You pronounce it as niche, niche, niche. Okay. N-I-C-H is practically niche. Okay, right? According to Indian English. N-I-C-H-E, che, right? It is a question from UPPSC 2024, a state prelims question, but very interesting. I forgot to write it as practice. But usually, whatever the questions I have given as practice, that is from some or the other state prelims exam. That is the closest which can go up to UPSC. I don't want to get below that. the questions become too primitive. But in state prelims, they ask sometimes the questions which are on par with the UPSC. So that's why I would like to take a lot of questions from different. You are now answering the state prelims questions of at least 14 states. Okay. So yeah, tell me this. Which of the following statements is not true about ecological niche? Dominant species occupy extensive and broader ecological niche. Number of species become large in ecological niche of natural ecosystem if resources are sufficient. Number of species become small in ecological niche if resources are sufficient. Dominance of single species become minimum if the resource distribution is equitable in the habitat. Question अर्थ ಆಗ್ತಿದೆಯಾ? You want to answer this after understanding niche? Okay. So let's come back to that question. Next heading is ecological niche. Niche. Okay. The word ecological niche another, it is now no more confined to ecology. It is an ecological term, but now it is become very common. You might have heard many celebrities, politicians using this word. Okay, so poverty removal is my niche, slum eradication is my niche, yeah. Women empowerment is my niche. So that is where, like, what is your specialty, what is your role in the society. How do you simply understand niche? Okay, what is habitat? Lives, your address basically, door number, street number, area, place, that is your address, that is where your courier comes. So habitat is your address, niche is your job. Okay, it's your job. What do you do? What is your role in the society? Now at present, what is your role? Your role is to come to the institution, take notes, study, go, revise, watch Netflix. Okay, so complete the series. There are so many niches of a particular person, right? So it's basically, niche is a complete ecological role, okay. Complete ecological profile of an organism. It includes everything. It includes where it lives, its habitat. Okay, so it includes what are its relationship with other organisms. It includes the environmental conditions in which it's living. Includes many other things. Okay, what does it do in the environment? What is the niche of earthworm, Ereola? What is the role which nature has given to it? It should convert the dead organic matter into black gold. Okay, when it eats and excretes, what comes out from its excreta is called as vermicompost. It is a very good, highly nutritious thing, and that is used as a manure for the crops. Crop growth ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅದನ್ನ ಹಾಕಿದಾಗ, and that material is called as black gold because it's as valuable as gold. All right, so that is the role. What is the role of tiger? Feeding on herbivorous animals and keeping the population of herbivorous animals in check. Otherwise, they'll do overgrazing. Okay. It's not the role which they have chosen. Humans have options. I want to become IAS, I can become IAS. Want to become IAS Indian Forest Service, I can begin IFS and protect the forest. Or the same person can decide, I want to become Veerappan and cut the forest, they can cut the forest. I want to become Pushpa. Okay, it's your choice, right? So we can choose what to become, but in nature, other than humans, they don't have choice. What is the role of deer, jinke? What is the ecological niche of deer? It's niche ಅನ್ನೋದು ತುಂಬಾ simple ಅಲ್ಲ. It's like really complicated. The niche of deer is to become food for the carnivores and help in maintaining the population of carnivores. That is their niche, and it is not chosen by them. Away choose ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡಿಲ್ಲ. It is the niche which is assigned by the nature for balancing and keeping the nature in equilibrium. That is the rule of nature, right? Nature will make sure that everybody will have their own niche, right? So this is what is an niche. What is, see, if you take the niche of the beaver, what is the niche of the beaver? What is the ecological role? What is its profile? See, to build a dam and to help to maintain or construct a wetland system so that many birds, frogs, fishes, aquatic organisms will survive. It create a ecosystem for them to thrive. Okay, what is the role of this? We saw this guy, right? Cow dung beetle. So what is its niche? To make sure that the cow dungs are taken out and eaten, converted. So how it has adapted to this? Its adaptations, habitat, physical conditions. What is the presence of other organisms? It may be its friend, its enemy, its competitor. We saw mutualism, symbiosis, parasitism, predation. What kind of relationship do they have with other organisms? What are its activities? Everything comes under niche. It's the entire profile of an organism. Where it lives, what it eats, whom it makes friendship with, whom is its enemy with, who is its predator, or is it predator on someone, who are its parasites, what environmental condition it can survive, and what role they do. Everything comes under niche. It's a very, very large term. Okay, so that is what is ecological niche. How do an animal develops this niche? You came to Bangalore from outside. Bandaga, you did not knew anyone. You took a room, settled down, and slowly you got to know others. There were some conditions which created, favored your development of niche. You slowly got to know ಅಂಗಡಿಯವರು, iron ಮಾಡೋರು, okay, plumber, electrician, ಅವ್ರದೆಲ್ಲ ನಂಬರ್ ಕೊಂಡು you became friends with them. Now with a phone call you started adjusting to that environment. You have become acclimatizing to that environment. Now after 2-3 years, some people are here in this area preparing for civil service since 200 years. That's different. Okay, so they are like almost like dinosaurs of this area. Okay, you ask them anything, they'll let you know. They'll give you all the information. They know what happens. What will be the cutoff in 27, 28, 29. Babas. Okay, gurus, babas. Okay. Anyways, hey, Panchavarshika Yojana Mugdadmalu, they don't want to go from here. Anyways, they get acclimatized. So similarly, when an organism starts evolving, there are some factors which help them in adjusting to that condition. These are mainly the abiotic factors. They'll favor in their growth, development, thriving and others. So if facilities becomes more congenial or more favorable, then that animal starts dominating. They'll start dominating. And to control that, the other factors, biotic factors, will keep a check on them, bringing their population to carrying capacity. Okay. So there will be one factor which will be favoring and one factor which will be controlling, and that mixture of biotic and abiotic factors will make sure that that organism will have their own role. They would have evolved, adopted to that environment, and they would be continuing their generations. Okay. So write down this niche. A small introduction. It is a multi-dimensional ecological profile. It is a multi-dimensional ecological profile of an organism. Multi-dimensional ecological profile of an organism in a community. Covering all the measurable aspects, covering all the measurable aspects, of its ecological activity. Stop. It is a term describing the position of a species, describing position of a species in an ecosystem. Okay. So every animal has its specialization. Earthworm, what earthworm can do, it is specialized in, that is their niche. Nobody else can do it better than that organism. Hunting is a niche of tiger, lion. Okay. So what is your niche? Find your niche. Okay. Find your niche, what you are good at. Story writing is a niche of Manoj. Okay. Does anybody play guitar? How many of you are interested in playing guitar? Why not are you not pursuing that hobby? You know how many things I handle, and I still make time for playing guitar. Okay, so that's my hobby too, and I'm doing it since 2016, 17, 16. Okay, it's not about how much busy you are in a day. If you have a passion, go for it. Start now, so that you don't have to write a lie in your uh, profile, right? So you have to submit a detailed application form, DAF, for the interview. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಮಗೆ ಹಾಬಿ ಅಂತ ಕೇಳ್ತಾರೆ, extra curricular activities and hobby, and that it defines what kind of person you are. So if you are a guitarist and if you have passion of singing, go join singing. One of my student was a very good singer. She had learned classical singing. Said, make sure that you sing in the interview. And Zabardasti. So she knew the question would come, singing and this, singing and teaching singing to the persons in slum, children, okay, going and teaching them singing. It was written, but actually made sure that go visit at least for half an hour, sit, sing with them and come, so that you don't lie. And they check it, ಸುತ್ತಮುತ್ತ ಹೆಂಗಿತ್ತು, did someone come and interrupt and all. ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಬರೆದ್ರೆ ಅದು ಸಿಕ್ಕಾಕೊಳ್ಳೋದು ಗೊತ್ತಾಗುತ್ತೆ, your facial expression will change. If you have actually done it, you will not lie, your face will say it's true. Okay, non mock interview ತಗೋಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ, if somebody writes guitar, I'll ask them, show me the different chords, and if he is actually guitarist, he will show. ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಬರೆದಿದ್ರೆ they will, I know this is a bluff. Okay, there are so many ways to find out the truth. So ನಿಮ್ಮ passion ಏನಿದೆ, dancing, novel reading, do it, don't just write. ಈಗಲೇ ಟೈಮ್, ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಸಮಥಿಂಗ್. ಇವತ್ತೇನೆ ಹೋಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಮನೆಯಲ್ಲಿ take a diary, take a thing and write down, okay, what is my niche, question mark. In that, try to come up with some things which you are specialized at and which you are interested in. Then bring it to me, we'll sit, decide and finalize what should be written in your DAF. Don't trust right, follow it right now. ಇವಾಗಲಿಂದನೇ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ at least next year interview ವರೆಗೂ it will actually become a hobby. You can actually write the truth. Okay, right? Ecological activity, write down. A niche essentially refers to the way a species relates or fits in with its environment. Fits in with the environment. Okay. Physical conditions of the region, next line. Physical conditions of the region help to mold the niche and biological constraints limit the way in which species exploits its environment, limits the way it exploits its environment, full stop. Okay. Are you getting it? ಅದರ abiotic factors ಏನಿದೆ, physical conditions ಅವೆಲ್ಲ ಅದನ್ನ mold ಮಾಡಿ ತನ್ನ ಫೇವರಿಗೆ it will start allow the animal to dominate. But other ತುಂಬಾ dominate ಆಗ್ತಿರ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ other biological constraint will keep a limit on it. Okay, this is what it is. So now if you come back to this question, now you have understood what is ecological niche. Now What is the question? Which of the following statement is not true about ecological niche? What does it mean? In Alex statement nalli, there is 3 statements which are true and there is 1 statement which is wrong. Okay, let's take one by one. Dominant species occupy extensive and broader ecological niche. Is it true? ಯಾವ ಸ್ಪೀಷೀಸ್ ಡಾಮಿನೆಂಟ್ ಇರುತ್ತೋ ಅವ್ರ ನಿಶ್ ಮತ್ತು ಅವ್ರ ಹ್ಯಾಬಿಟೇಟ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ದೇ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಮೋರ್ ರಿಸೋರ್ಸಸ್ ಟು ಕನ್ಸ್ಯೂಮ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ದೇ ಡಾಮಿನೇಟ್ ಓವರ್ ಲಾರ್ಜರ್ ಏರಿಯಾ. Is it true? Yes, because they are stronger. If you take the monkeys, there are some red-faced monkeys and there are some black-faced monkeys. The red-faced monkeys are stronger. They occupy the main middle of the forest where there is good number of fruit trees, and all the other weaker monkeys will occupy the periphery. Okay, dominant species will always occupy this. Okay, number of species becomes large in ecological niche of an ecosystem if resources are sufficient. ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ರಿಸೋರ್ಸ್ ಇದ್ರೆ ನಂಬರ್ ಆಫ್ ಸ್ಪೀಶೀಸ್ ಎಕಲಾಜಿಕಲ್ ನಿಚ್ಚಲ್ಲಿ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗುತ್ತಾ ಕಮ್ಮಿ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ? ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಮೋರ್ ರಿಸೋರ್ಸಸ್, more people can share. If the resources is limited, then what will happen? Only the dominant species will thrive, the weaker ones will migrate, will emigrate, and they will die. Okay, so this is also true. Number of species becomes small in ecological niche if resources are sufficient. Resource sufficient adre number of species small aga. This is dominance of single species become minimum if the resource distribution is equitable. Resource ತುಂಬಾ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇದ್ದಾಗ dominant species ಅವರ dominance of single one species dominate ಮಾಡೋದು ಕಮ್ಮಿ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. Why would they dominate? They have good number of resources. Even the other animals will have their own share, but resource ಕಮ್ಮಿ ಇದ್ದಾಗ ಮಾತ್ರ one species will start to dominate and capture maximum amount of resources. If the entire forest is filled with fruit trees, why would any monkey will fight with other species of monkeys? They will also eat, these people will also eat. But tumba kammi iddag matra there will be competition. There will be who will dominate. Okay, so this is also right. What is the right answer for this question? Okay, got it. Answer this question. With reference to ecological niche, consider the following statements. Two different species can have totally overlapping niche in the same community. ಒಂದೇ ಕಮ್ಯುನಿಟಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಎರಡು ಸ್ಪೀಶೀಸ್ಗಳು they can have a same niche. In case of total overlap of niche, both the species continue to survive through mutualism. Okay, these are the two statements. Which of the statement of given above is correct? One only, two only, both one and two, neither one nor two. Who says A? One only. Okay. B? Two only. C? D? Okay. So one only. Why two is not correct? Okay. Why first statement is correct? They can have totally overlapping niche. Okay. Why it is wrong? Okay. That's actually true. The answer is D. Neither one. This is also wrong. This is also wrong. So no two organisms can have completely overlapping niche. Okay, and in case of complete overlap, partially they can have some of the niche can be shared. Say for example, a grassland is there, in that there is a cow, there is a zebra. Some part of their niche is same, like the kind of resource which they consume is same, but they have a different kind of predator, they have different ability, they survive in different environment, their lifespan is different, the other part of the niche is different. But if two organisms, if they have same kind of nature, they cannot survive, they will not thrive. In case of total overlapping of niche, then one species will be sent away, will be eliminated from that community. Only one of the species can be there and the other species have to leave that environment. And this is called as the principle of competitive exclusion. Okay. So, the next concept is principle of competitive exclusion. Okay. So, right, two different species can have partially overlapping niche. Two different species can have partially overlapping niche in the same community. In the same community, but never totally overlapping niche. Can you think of any two examples who have exactly same food, same resource on which they consume, same way of catching that prey, same way of eating, almost same way of lifestyle? Lion and tiger. Okay, yeah. So lion and tiger, they eat the same kind of animals. They almost live in the same kind of ecosystem, their habitat. They have same way of hunting. They have exactly totally overlapping niche. So that is the reason you can't find the tigers and lions in a same community. In the same community, do you think they can survive? No, there will be fight. One of them needs to be going out. ಯಾವ್ದಾದ್ರು ಒಂದು ಪ್ರಾಣಿ ಆಚೆ ಹೋಗಲೇಬೇಕು. Either tiger should go out if the lion is stronger, or lion should go out if the tiger is stronger. They'll fight. They can't be totally overlapping niche. Okay. So, what did you write? In case of total overlap, what will happen? Total overlap, what will happen? In case of total overlap, one species will be eliminated from the community. One species will be eliminated from the community. This is called as the principle of competitive exclusion. Somebody said something about this is the thing. Okay, lion and tiger. Example, lion and tiger. So that's why lion lives in, they live in Gir forest and they live in Sundarbans. So you don't have tigers in Gir forest, you don't have lions in Sundarbans. Okay. Somebody said goss. Who said? Somebody used this word? No. Okay. There is something called Gauss principle. So Gauss principle is related to. We have seen principle of computative exclusion. Okay. Now tell me what is Gauss principle? Just guess. Gauss principle is related to. Who says A? Principle of coexistence. Principle of predation. B. Principle of succession. Okay. Good. Principle of computative exclusion. Alle badidi next line. This is also called as okay. So when you are reading something, read it completely. This is also called as Gauss principle. Gauss principle and principle of computative exclusion are same. Okay. Answer this. This is called reverse engineering. When you do a mistake, you will never forget Gauss principle. You will never forget a fact that Gauss principle is same as principle of computative exclusion. That is the way psychologically it fits in your mind. Doing wrong and learning from that. Human psychology. Two 2013 ಅಲ್ಲಿ question ಕೇಳಿದ್ರಲ್ಲ, did you mark it in your notes that this question was asked in UPSC 2013? ಯಾವುದು? UPSC niche ಅಲ್ಲಿ put a thing and write down thing. Why I am saying this is, so when you revise after 60-70 years, when you take out your book for revision, so now if you go home and revise, you will come to know ye question bandittu. But after 60-70 years, this is difficult to recall. Alva? So if you have written that this question has been asked, it's easier for you to relate. Okay, fine, there has been a question which was asked. Okay, at least your grandchildren can remember. It's passed on. Anyways, two different species occupying similar niche in separate geographical area. Nodi illi there are two organisms, two different species. They occupy same niche. They do the same thing, same way, but because of Gauss principle, they cannot be in the same geographical area. They are occupying different communities, different ecosystems. But in both the systems, they do the same thing. And say, for example, lion in Gir forest and tiger in Sundarbans. What are these organisms called as? This was a state prelims question. Who says A? B? C? D? Why D? Okay. It's your instinct speaking, right? This time it has worked, but believe me, exam only the question which seems right for the first time, ಬಂದಾಕ್ಷಣ ನಿಮ್ಮ human gut feeling ಇರುತ್ತಲ್ಲ, ಇದೇ right one. That will always be wrong. So this happens. So you should always, go with the revision and believe in your preparation, revision and teacher. Human gut feeling na ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಅವತ್ತು ಆಚೆ ಇಟ್ಟೋಗ್ಬಿಡಿ examination hall ಇಂದ. It's called ecological equivalent. Okay, so what are ecological equivalents? These are the organisms which occupy same niche, they have a same niche, totally overlapping niche, but they are in different geographical area. Okay, what is ecological guild? Write down ecological guild, then we will see ecological equivalents. Okay. So ecological guild basically is a group of species in the same geographical area which feed on the same resources in the same manner. So there is a group of animals, group of organisms, they consume the same resource in the same manner. So what does it mean? It means that these organisms have partially overlapping niche. They have partially overlapping niche, but not totally overlapping niche. Only resource part is there. Can you give some examples? There is a flower garden. How many different kinds of insects visit that? Honeybees, butterflies, some moths, some other insect. They all feed on the same plant. They all take their part of the nectar. They are consuming the same resource in the same manner. How do butterflies take the nectar? Straw. ಒಳಗಡೆ ಇರುತ್ತಲ್ಲ ನೆಕ್ಟರ್, ಫ್ಲವರ್ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಸ್ಟ್ರಾ ಹಾಕೊಂಡು ಇಳ್ಕತ್ತವ. ಓಕೆ, ಸಿ ಡಿಫ್ರೆಂಟ್ ಆರ್ಗಾನಿಸಮ್ಸ್, ಇನ್ಸೆಕ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತಲ್ಲ, ಇನ್ಸೆಕ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಮೌತ್ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ಸ್. ಎನಿ ಝೂಲಜಿ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್? ಲೇಬ್ರಮ್, ಲೇಬಿಯಮ್, mandibles, maxillae. Okay, so the upper jaw is called maxillae and lower jaw is called mandibles. Mandibles is like the name given to the mouth part. And ನಮ್ಮ Cornell University nalli there was a library called Man Library, one of the top 10 world's best libraries. Adragade ಒಂದು small eatery ಇತ್ತು. There was one place where people can go and eat. It's called mandibles. Okay, named after the insect mouth part. So the insects have different kinds of mouth parts altered. Mandibles, maxillae iruttala, adu for ants and all it is biting and chewing type. They have to cut this. For mosquitoes it is like sucking and piercing and sucking type. And these butterflies and all, they have a very different kind of mouth part, which is siphoning type. Siphoning type is ಈಗ ಜಾತ್ರೆಗೆಲ್ಲ ಹೋದಾಗ ಒಂದು ಪಿ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾ, ಪಿ ಅಂತ ಉದ್ದಾಗ ಇಷ್ಟು ಉದ್ದ ಎಲ್ಲ ಹಿಂಗಾಗುತ್ತೆ, then it coils back, then if you blow it will uncoil and become a long. That is exactly how the mouth part of certain organisms works. Frog, ಆಮೇಲೆ ಕೆಮೆಲಿಯನ್ ಬರುತ್ತಲ್ಲ ಉಸಿರೊಳ್ಳಿ, ಅದನ್ನು ಅಷ್ಟು ದೂರದಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರೇ ಇದ್ರೂ ಅದ್ರ ಟಂಗ್ ಅಷ್ಟು ದೂರ ಅನ್ಕಾಯಿಲ್ ಆಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಹೋಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಅಟ್ಯಾಚ್ ಆಗಿ ಇಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. Similarly, these butterflies sit, they will dip their tongue, it will uncoil, go, and it will come back. ಈ ಥರ ತುಂಬ ಇನ್ಸೆಕ್ಟ್ಸ್ಗಳಿಗೆ, those who are feeding on nectar will have this kind of mouth parts. So they are eating the same resource in the same manner. Okay, in the same place, same community. Okay, so if you are saying in the same area, that is same community. They are the part of the community, but they are sharing a partial niche, but other niches are different. Cow and buffalo, if you see there are like different insects feeding on flower, same flower. Buffaloes, cows, and all they're feeding. They're okay feeding on the same. This grass is same resource. Okay, but they are consuming the resource in a similar way. Okay, the same way of feed. That is called as ecological guild. You should be very careful with the word. So write down this. They are the group of species. They are the group of species in the same community group of species in the same community which utilize the same resource which utilize the same resource in the same manner. Example, cow and buffalo. Cow and buffalo in a grassland. Honeybee and butterfly on a flower. Okay. What are ecological equivalents? Two different species in two different communities, but having exactly same niche. They share a similar. They play a similar role in that environment. Okay, tiger and lion. There is one, example. There is Madagascar mantella. It is a frog which is present in Madagascar. They look similar but different color, but they play exactly the same role what a South American dart plays in South America. They are ecological equivalents. They have exactly same overlapping leash, but they are in different geographical area or different community. Okay, so that is called ecological equivalents. Okay, write down this ecological equivalents. Two different species in different communities in different communities but playing largely similar or same role, but playing largely same or similar role. So it also means, what does it mean? They occupy, they have similar niche but in different geographical area. Write that one line as well. They occupy similar niche in separate geographical areas. Similar niche in separate geographical areas. So they are called as ecological equivalents. Okay, done. So example, you can write tiger and lion. Why does ecological equivalence occur? Because there is Gauss principle. Okay, Done. Ecological succession. This is the last topic in community ecology. Okay. Just before going here, I would like to do a very quick thing. Just tell me headings from the day we started the class, ecology, what all we did, one by one, very quick, just 2 minutes. First thing we studied about meaning, definition. Don't know looking back. Close your books. No looking back. Okay. Branches. Don't go into details. Just headings. Factors affecting ecology. In that, biotic, abiotic. Then hierarchy of life. From there we started population ecology. So within population ecology, what are the things we know, saw? Huh? What is the first thing we saw? Definition, age, distribution, then population pyramids or L-6 pyramids, then flow is important. Okay, so what is it? Growth pattern. Okay, pattern of population growth. Then survivalship curve. Then there is one thing which we saw, factors affecting population growth, fertility, fecundity, mortality, immigration, then density. Density factors, actually it's not density, it's stabilization, population stabilization. Okay, that's it. Then we went to community ecology. Community we started with, okay, definition and meaning of what is community. Then community, interspecific interactions. So in that we saw very quickly, proto-cooperation, mutualism or symbiosis, competition, predation, parasitism, amensalism, commensalism. Okay. Then next, interspecific admele, ecotone, then edge effect, then edge species, edge effect, then keystone species, then niche, then principle of competitive exclusion, then ecological guild, ecological equivalence, flow idea, ಈ flow ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ಗೊತ್ತಿರಬೇಕು. Just remember these headings. I'll make sure ecology, environment, biodiversity ಮುಂಚೆ ಇದೇ exercise ನಾವು last day ಮಾಡೋಣ. I'll do it last day of the class without touching your book. From the first class till the last class, I want you to tell the headings at least. You will, I know. Okay, so do this and go to exam worry free. Nothing can come out of this. Illa, I know. No search any book. Okay, so for the examination perspective, none of has come outside. I have seen not just UPSC, I have explored many question papers. Whatever the possible questions have been asked, I have made you answer that. and this should be a continuity. Because there is no continuity, you will not be able to frame a kind of relationship, right? So if you do it 2-3 times, if somebody comes and asks you, what is ecology, what is there in ecology, what is there, at least you can say this, these topics are there. If you are able to say this, then you're a genius, okay, in this subject, don't worry, right? Okay, now we will start with a new topic, ecological succession. What is succession? Succession, succeed. Game of Thrones ನೋಡಿದೀರಾ? ನೋಡಿಲ್ವಾ? There is a throne, a king is sitting on that throne. If he goes out, then only some other person can come and sit, right? So basically, one person in a particular place, he is sitting on a chair, the king. Only when the king dies, his son or any next person will come and sit on the chair. They will occupy, they will replace them. That means they will succeed them. So Barber was succeeded by history error ಆಗಿದೆ. Barber was succeeded. Barber ಮಗ ಯಾರು? Barber was succeeded by, who succeeded Barber? Babur. Mughal. He was the founder of Mughal dynasty, right? Babur was succeeded by Humayun. ಕೇಳಿದ್ರಾ? Humayun was succeeded by Akbar. Akbar was succeeded by Jahangir. Jahangir was succeeded by Shah Jahan. Okay, now let's complete this. Jahangir was succeeded by Shah Jahan. Okay, Taj Mahal person. Shah Jahan was succeeded by Aurangzeb. ಇದೆಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಗೊತ್ತಿರೋದು. Now the actual thrill comes. Aurangzeb was succeeded by son. His father will not succeed him again. Who is that son? What a bright answer. ಚಿಕ್ಕದ್ರಿಂದನೇ ಇಷ್ಟೊಂದು ಬ್ರೈಟ್ ಇಲ್ಲ ಇವಾಗ ಆಗಿರೋದು? How did you develop this talent? Bahadur Shah. And after that, science and tech teacher is asking you a history question just to make you understand succession. Okay, I know I'm not talking about who has not studied. I know they have, somebody would have completed NCERTs and classes in other institutions. Farooq Shayar, Mohammad Shah Rangila. Okay, Akbar too. Who gave Rajaram the title of Raja? Actually, Ram Mohan Rai was given a title Raja, yeah, so that he can go and get his pension increased. Papa Rodor Barlela was. He passed away. Yeah. You should know till the last Mughal ruler, Bahadur Shah Zafar, because that timeline is very important. A history teacher will tell you. So I understood what is succession. One person is there, some other will come replacing him or her. Okay. Now, in ecology, if you take a community, okay, especially a plant community, the presence of a particular plant will lead to a lot of changes in that environment. The micro environment of that place will change because of presence of a particular community. And this change which happens in this area becomes unfavorable for the existing population and favorable for some other plants. So the other plants will come and replace them. Okay. So this process is called ecological succession, plant succession, and this keep on happening till a stage comes where no more changes in that environment is possible. Okay. This is called as ecological succession. So ecological succession starts from a place where there is no life, bare rock. Any place, ಯಾವುದೇ ಒಂದು plant community establish ಆಗಬೇಕಾದ್ರೂ initially the place would have been something which is without land. The earth was like that, complete rocks irutte. Okay, so on these bare rocks certain organisms will somehow come from different place and establish themselves, and they initiate the succession, ecological succession, and after that the succession goes on in a sequence. Okay, so I'll explain you how it starts, how it goes and all, but before that, see, this is a bare rock, and after that this is how succession happens. We'll come back to this picture, but answer this question. Which of the following is the correct sequence of phases of biotic succession? Is biotic succession antanu anta. So they are asking which is the right sequence of phases. First ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, second ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, third ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ. Ecosis, migration, reaction, stabilization. Ecosis, migration, stabilization, reaction, migration, reaction, stabilization, ecosis, migration, ecosis, reaction, stabilization. Who says A? B? C? D? Okay. What about others? Skip the question. See, illen negative illa. Try madi. Just answer. No. A. Okay. First, ecosis to migration. What is ecosis? So the answer is D. Okay. Migration, ecosis, reaction, and stabilization. Okay. So these are the 4 stages. Okay. I think it's written already. Sorry. Yeah. So this is the thing. I'll take a new thing. Okay. So if we come back here, this is a bare rock. Let's imagine a condition where there is nothing. ಏನು ಇಲ್ಲ, ಕಲ್ಲು ಮಣ್ಣು, ಬರೀ ಕಲ್ಲುಗಳಿದಾವೆ, ಮಣ್ಣಿಲ್ಲ. Only stones are there, and stone has no nutrition, no ions, no minerals. They don't even have good, environment where even the plants can grow. Plants can grow only in soil, alva. They need soil for the roots to penetrate. Their roots have to get inside, piercing the physical barrier of soil. So the soil should be smooth. but stone is so hard that the roots cannot penetrate inside the stones. So not every organism can live without soil, but there are some organisms which can live without soil. Okay. So this is a question from UPSC 2014. Lichens, I know you know this answer, we have already discussed. Lichens which are capable of initiating the ecological succession even on a bare rock are actually a symbiotic association of, what is the answer? Algae and fungi. Okay. So if you want to live on some place, then you have to write down this. What is this? When an area is buried in a forest fire, then the plants and animals begin to return to the burned area. This is called primary, secondary, pioneer, community. Who says A? B, C, D. Okay. So this is called as secondary succession. All right. There is one more question. Yeah, this is what I wanted to show you before actually start explaining about the thing. This is a question from UPSC Prelims 2021. 2021 Prelims ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಈ question ಕೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ. Naturally, which of the following is most likely to be found surviving on a surface without soil? Soil ಬೇಕೇ ಬೇಕಲ್ಲ ಅದಕ್ಕೂ ಬೆಳೆಯಕ್ಕೆ, ಬಟ್ ಸಾಯಿಲ್ ಇಲ್ದನೆ ಬೆಳೆಯುವಂಥ ಸ್ಪೀಶೀಸ್ಗಳು ಯಾವ್ಯಾವು? ಫರ್ನ್, ಫರ್ನ್ ಕೇಳಿದ್ ನೋಡಿದ್ದೀರಾ? ಫರ್ನ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾ? Ferns are plants which do not have flowers. Flowering plants alla. So in the entire plant kingdom, we divide them into 5 categories, 5 phylums. Algae, bryophyte, pteridophytes, gymnosperms, angiosperms. Gymnosperms and angiosperms are these are higher plants. Ulidid mooru lower plants. Okay. So angiosperms are flowering plants. In algae nalli ಏನು ಇರಲ್ಲ flower, it don't even have root, shoots and others. Bryophytes ಅಲ್ಲಿ roots ಇರುತ್ತೆ, shoots ಇರುತ್ತೆ. They don't have flowers, they don't have seeds and others. Okay. So ಒಂದೊಂದು character ಕಮ್ಮಿ ಆಗ್ತಿದ್ದಂಗೆ the phylum will come down. We will see that in biology. Okay. So ferns are those plants ನೀವು ಈ ಬುಕೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರಲ್ಲ, ಬುಕೆನಲ್ಲಿ ಇರ್ತಲ್ಲ ಹಿಂದೆ ಫ್ಲವರ್ ಹಿಂದೆ, that is ferns. If you go to forest, you can find the small plants which are having very good leaves, but they are not flowering. So ferns. Lichens ಗೊತ್ತು ನಿಮಗೆ ಏನು ಅಂತ? Mosses. Okay, mushrooms. So what is the answer? Who says A? B? C? D? 1, 3 and 4. So the answer is C. Only mosses and lichens can grow without soil. Even mushroom needs some kind of dead organic matter, which is nothing but soil, and ferns also needs soil. So ಎರಡು ಬಿಟ್ರೆ they don't do that. Okay. So let us come here. Okay. So ecological succession andre there will be a condition where there is entirely different structure, which is not like as we are seeing it now. Now ಏನೇ ಕಾರ್ಡ್ ನೋಡಿದ್ರು ಅದು once upon a time it was like this. How the ecological succession started? Ecological succession started when some organism migrated from some other place. allenu illa, if it is inhabited, if somebody is coming to that place, then they are migrating, right? They are coming from somewhere else, gali mukhantrano illa neer mukhantrano, or through some animals, through humans, through birds, some organisms will come and start establishing there. But ಆ hostile environment ತುಂಬಾ ಟಫ್ ಎನ್ವೈರನ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಎಸ್ಟಾಬ್ಲಿಷ್ ಆಗೋದು ಬಹಳ ಕಷ್ಟ, ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನೀರಿಲ್ಲ, ನ್ಯೂಟ್ರಿಷನ್ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಸಾಯಿಲ್ ನ್ಯೂಟ್ರಿಷನ್ ಇಲ್ಲ. ನ್ಯೂಟ್ರಿಷನ್ ಇದ್ರೆ ದೇ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಸರ್ವೈವ್, ಏನೂ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಬಟ್ ದೇ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಸರ್ವೈವ್. ಸೊ a single organism cannot survive. So the first organism which comes here, they migrate and come here, and these organisms are called as pioneers. Okay, example of pioneers are lichens, okay, and mosses. These two are the organisms which can survive without soil. Rock mel bandu kutkadave. Okay, so mosses can survive because they can do photosynthesis. Avu sun inda energy tagondu food develop ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು they can survive. Lichens alli there is fungus and algae. They enter into mutual relationship. It's like ಈಗ ನೀವು ನಿಮ್ಮ ರೂಮಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾರು ರೂಮ್ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ನರ್ಸ್ ಜೊತೆ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ, are staying with some other room partner. So one will say, I will pay the rent. The other, I'll cook. So here algae is a cook. Algae produces the food through photosynthesis and feed it to fungi. Fungi say, I will pay the room rent. Okay, it will allow the fungus to, algae to stay on it. And they will create a relationship where algae provides food to the fungus and fungus will provide place for the algae to live. And their mutual relationship, they can survive. So their presence here will lead to changes. Slowly they will start degrading the rock, disintegrating the rock. They will grow, they will multiply, they will grow in number, they will start releasing certain chemicals. ಈ ಎಲ್ಲದರಿಂದ rocks will start weathering and rocks will convert into soil. It's the first process which happens. It doesn't happen overnight. It takes millions of years. And after millions of years, thousands of years, the rocks will become soil. And this change which is brought about by the same animal which has started the succession, it becomes harmful for them. Avrige adu survive agala. They now cannot survive on soil. That becomes unfavorable for the organism which is already present. Now, when the rocks become soil, it is now favorable for some herbs to grow, grasses and herbs. Somewhere else, the seeds of grasses and herbs will come and they will establish on the soil. Now, soil is andre belibodala, they can establish roots. They will start growing on the soil, and they will either, most of the times, they will replace the lichens, or lichens jotege beliyak shuru agutte. They will grow and they will start multiplying. Their multiplication will again leads to change in that soil, mainly soil itava, because kelu leaves shed agi kelag beeltave, the roots will enter, they will change the kind of soil structure, texture. The soil becomes more favorable. So the more favorable it becomes, it will invite a new category of plants. They will come and they will succeed the previous ones. These will be succeeded by annual herbs, will be succeeded by perennial herbs. There are some more dominating plants. They will come. Now the environment is suitable for the higher plants. They will come, they will replace they will succeed the previous ones and they will establish. Again they will bring about changes, and this keeps on happening. This process is called as ecological succession. Okay, so that is the thing, and this process will keep on happening elli tanaka, till when? till a stage comes where the succession is not possible. That means the soil has reached to a condition where it is improved to its maximum. Okay, soil, if you see this here, in rocks idea, rocks lichens bandakshna, they will start becoming the soil. Soil improvement aata hoytu, small annual plants, lichens bandhu, grasses bandhu, perennials bandhu, the soil will keep on increasing. There will be a stage where said this is the maximum improvement a soil can happen. ಇದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಮೇಲೆ ಸಾಯಿಲ್ ಇಂಪ್ರೂವ್ ಆಗಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯ ಇಲ್ಲ ಈ ಎನ್ವೈರನ್ಮೆಂಟ್. ಇಟ್ ಡಸಂಟ್ ಮೀನ್ ಮೋರ್ ಫರ್ಟೈಲ್. ಈ ಸ್ಟೇಜ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಂತೋಗ್ಬೋದು, ಇಷ್ಟೇ ಆಗೋದು, ಇದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ದಿಸ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ದ ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಸ್ಟೇಜ್. ಸೊ ದ ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಸ್ಟೇಜ್ ವೇರ್ ನೋ ಮೋರ್ ಇಂಪ್ರೂವ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಪಾಸಿಬಲ್, ಆ ಸ್ಟೇಜ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನ್ ಕಮ್ಯುನಿಟಿ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ ಕಮ್ಯುನಿಟಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಇರುತ್ತೋ ದೇ ವಿಲ್ ಗೆಟ್ ಸ್ಟೆಬಿಲೈಸ್ಡ್, ದೇ ವಿಲ್ ಎಂಟರ್ ಇನ್ ಟು ಈಕ್ವಿಲಿಬ್ರಿಯಂ ವಿತ್ ದ ನೇಚರ್. ಅದಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ ನೋ ನ್ಯೂ ಮೆಂಬರ್ ಈಸ್ ಎಂಟರ್ ಇನ್ ಟು ದ community. They'll just keep on renewing themselves. Our species na renewing makkan, they will continue to survive. That is called climax. Climax community. Okay. So there is pioneer community, climax community. So this is what is called as ecological section. This is lichen. Lichen hinge kanadu. ನೋಡಿದೀರಾ ಬಂಡೆ ಬಂಡೆ ಮೇಲೆ ಬೆಳಿತಾವಲ್ಲ, ಇದು ಲೈಕನ್. ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ನೀವು ಮಂಗಳೂರು ಕಡೆ ಹೋದಾಗ ಈ ಹಳೆ ಕಾಂಪೌಂಡ್ ಮೇಲೆಲ್ಲ ಗ್ರೀನ್ 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 ಕಲರ್ ಪಾಚಿ ಬೆಳೆದಂಗೆ ಬೆಳೆದಿದೆ, ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಮಾಸ್. ಓಕೆ, ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಮಾಸ್. ಕಾಲಿಟ್ರೆ ಜಾರ್ತಿಲ್ಲ, ಪಾಚಿ ಇಸ್ ಮಾಸ್. ಲೈಕನ್ ಇಸ್ ಡಿಫ್ರೆಂಟ್. ಓಕೆ, now let's start writing this. Okay, ecological succession, you can write. Ecological succession. Shut down. Ecological succession is a process in which there is gradual change in the structure of species, gradual change in the structure of species of an ecological community over time. Stop. It is a steady and gradual change in the species composition of a given area. Given area. It occurs in a sequential manner. It occurs in a sequential manner in different phases. In different phases. Okay. Different phases. What are those phases? First one, migration. Migration andre it is a process of arrival of a new organism into a new area. ಯಾವುದೋ ಒಂದು ಆರ್ಗಾನಿಸಮು ಈ ಬ್ಯಾರನ್ ರಾಕ್ ಇರುತ್ತಲ್ಲ, mainly mosses and lichens, ಅವು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬರ್ತಾವಲ್ಲ, the first thing. So what they do is they'll come and establish. First they will sit there. That's the thing. If you take pioneer community, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಮಧ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋದ್ರೆ ಇದಿದೆ, ಈ ಚೇಂಜಸ್ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಇಲ್ಲಿಗೂ some organism will migrate and come here. Okay, so they will somehow get into that area. ಆ area ಬರೋ process ಇದೆಲ್ಲ, that's called migration. So write down migration. It is the arrival of a new species into a new area. ಹೆಂಗ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ? What are the modes? How does they come? Water, wind, birds, animals, humans. We bring it from somewhere and place it somewhere. We introduce new species into new areas. Alva? Okay, seed dispersal, spore movement, so many things. That's the first step. Second, once what will happen after migration? They will, second stage is ecosis. Ecosis andre no, they will establish, they will kind of make their presence in that environment. Say seeds bantu, what is ecosis? Germination. Spores bantu, they will settle down and they will start growing. If an egg comes, then they will hatch and they will start living there. So ecosis is basically the stage of establishment of that organism. Once it ban mele, they have to establish there. If you take plants, seeds dispersal is migration, seed germination is ecosis. Write down. It is the establishment stage of the species through germination and growth. Okay. Once they start establishing, what will happen? There will be reaction. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕೆಲವು ಲೋಕಲ್ ಕಂಡೀಷನ್ಗಳು ಇರ್ತವೆ. there are local factors of locality. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಎನ್ವೈರನ್ಮೆಂಟು, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಟೆಂಪರೇಚರು, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸಾಯಿಲು. So there will be reaction of these organism with that environment. Slowly these organism will try to change that environment, and if the organism cannot change, then it will start changing itself. There will be some kind of reaction between the environment and the organism. That will happen in third stage. Okay, and finally, once everything is settled down, it will be stabilization. Either the organism will change that environment according to its requirement, or it will change itself into the thing. ನೀವು ಬೆಂಗಳೂರಿಗೆ ಬಂದಾಗ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಲ್ವಾ? Starting when you came as pioneers, you were very naive. Then your ecosis happened. You started dominating. Third, you reacted. Friendship ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರಿ, ಅವ್ರದ್ದು ಇವ್ರದ್ದು ಪರಿಚಯ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಎಲ್ಲರನ್ನ ಬರ್ಕೊಂಡು. ನಾವು ಯಾರು ಬಂದ್ರೆ ನನ್ನ ಹೆಸರು ಹೇಳಲ್ಲಿ. ಬಸ್ ಹೇಳಿದ್ ನನ್ನ ಹೆಸರು ಹೇಳಿ ಕರ್ಕೊ ಬರ್ತಾರೆ ಮನೆಯವ್ರಿಗೂ. That is stabilization. Dominating that. Okay. Are you getting it? Adhe alva humans namdu adhe stages. Okay. So if anybody in Chandra layout, drop downs and says the name of Chennamma, mane karka bandu bittu tea kodis hogtare. Dominance. Okay. So because you have come here, you have done, reacted, stabilized now. Yeah. Okay. So write down this. So third one, reaction. But Hanuman stage is still in pioneer stage. Are ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ. Okay. Reaction. Modification of the environment by organisms. Modification of the environment by organisms leading to changes in the environment. Leading to changes in the environment. Next is stabilization. Stabilization. Formation of stable and self-sustaining community. Formation of stable and self-sustaining community. Okay, that's the thing. 4 stages. You can even put a star and write state PCS. Don't write any particular state. State PCS 2024. Yes. Okay. Next, kinds of succession. Kinds of succession. There are 2 kinds of succession. Primary succession and secondary succession. Primary succession and secondary succession. Primary succession is what we were discussing. There will be a barren rock, an area without any life. Okay, so there a pioneer comes, changes the environment, some other species will replace this, then some other species again will replace the previous one. So this keep on happening till it reaches a climax. Okay, So a succession which takes place in an area where there was no life before, it takes place in a barren area where there was no vegetation which has established. ಮುಂಚೆ ಅಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲೂ ವೆಜಿಟೇಷನ್ ಇಲ್ವೇ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಏರಿಯಾದಲ್ಲಿ ಸಕ್ಸೆಷನ್ ಶುರು ಆದರೆ that is called as primary succession. And this primary succession is autogenic. Autogenic andre it happens because of the factors which are internal. ಸ್ವಂತ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ ಬಯೋಮಾಸ್ ಕೆಳಗಡೆ ಬಿದ್ದು ಸಾಯಿಲ್ ಇಂಪ್ರೂವ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. It happens because of the soil factors and others. Okay, internal factors. Now succession started, succession is happening, it is some stage, middle or anywhere. So suddenly a catastrophic event happened. Okay, so there is a already nice number of trees, plants and others. Till something happened which led to the destruction of the entire ecosystem, destruction of the entire plant life, and again the area became lifeless, plantless. Okay, say forest fire aitu, overgrazing aitu, or if someone human came and he completely clear filled the area, complete extreme drought, ಮಳೆನೇ ಬರಲಿಲ್ಲ 3-4 ವರ್ಷ, all the life died, no plant, again it's a area which is treeless, plantless. Illige again some organism will come and they will establish. Okay, they will start growing, again they will start improving, again other organism comes, again another organism comes, and finally they lead the climax. This is called as secondary succession. Secondary succession happens once the area is already vegetated. Allige some event happened, some catastrophic event happened, and the entire life was wiped out. Then again the succession started and it continued till climax. So illi shuru aguttala, here the organisms which come to this lifeless area, they are not called pioneers. Who are pioneers? Pioneers are primary succession ಮುಂಚೆ ಬಂದಿರ್ತಲ್ಲ, those are pioneers. These are not called pioneers. ಇದಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ every stage which happens, this stage is called as seral stage, and these are called as seral or CER. Okay, so this community till climax is called as seral community. So now we have come across three communities. ಮೂರು ಯಾವುದು? Pioneer community, seral community, climax community. What is pioneer community? Community which is in the beginning of primary succession. What is seral community? Secondary succession in the climax vargu ಏನು community ಇರುತ್ತೆ, that's seral. Climax is either primary or secondary. The last community which happens, which does not allow any new member to get in, it's an established community, equilibrium bandagide, it won't get changed. Whatever the number of species there, they're fixed. That is called as the thing. So this is primary succession. Okay, so there is rock, there is improvement, first plants, lichens idvo. Now because of the improvement, small annual plants, grasses, annual plants bandhu and lichens jotagidvo. Then the lichens was eliminated, they are replaced by grasses and perennial trees, and adadmele some grasses, shrubs and perennial were replaced by shade intolerant trees like pines and all, they cannot grow in shade. Then they are again replaced by shade tolerant trees, oak and hickory, and this is climax. These are pioneers and this is climax. Okay, so this is autogenic, all the changes are happening because of its own internal factors. But secondary, if the secondary succession has to happen. This kind of succession is because of allogenic factors. What is allogenic factors? It is external factors. External ಅಂದ್ರೇನು? Forest fire ಹೊರಗಡೆಯಿಂದ ಬಂದಿರೋದು. Drought external. Too high temperature external. Okay, overgrazing. There are so many reasons because of secondary succession. Okay, so erosion, okay, burning, clearing, all these are the factors which are external, allogenic. External factors in the secondary succession has happened. This is what is secondary succession. Chanagitta plants ella admele some catastrophic event happened, erosion, volcano, burning, clearing, overgrazing, something, so that all the life went lifeless. Okay, adadmele again the plant life started, and illinda pioneers baralla, the grasses comes and some other tree species comes, and finally the climax has obtained. Okay, so this is what is called as secondary succession, right? Write down this. Kinds of succession. For primary succession, it is a kind of succession. It's a kind of succession which takes place on sites which takes place on sites which takes place on sites which have previously takes place on sites which have previously not borne any vegetation, not born BORN vegetation. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಮುಂಚೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ವೆಜಿಟೇಷನ್ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ಲೈಫ್ಲೆಸ್, ಬ್ಯಾರನ್ ರಾಕ್. Primary succession happens because of autogenic factors. Autogenic factors or internal factors. Autogenic andre enenu? What are the internal factors? Soil, the leaf litters, the plants which grows and dies, they all add organic matter. Adikke soil improvement agta ide. So these are internal factors, autogenic factors. The first species to appear are called as ಏನಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ? Pioneer species. Pioneer species. Example, lichens and mosses. Lichens and mosses. Lichens and ಏನು ಬರೀತೀರಾ? What will you write in lichens? Combination of algae and fungi. Sidal star haಕೊಂಡು UPSC 2014. And ಅದರ ಮುಂದೆ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಲೈನ್ ಸೇರಿಸ್ಬಿಡಿ. They can survive without soil. They can survive without soil. ಮತ್ತೆ ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಸೈಡಲ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ ಹಾಕೊಂಡು UPSC 2021. ನೋಟ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡೋದಂಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗ್ತಿದೆಯಾ? Again, it won't help now, but after 30 years when you revise, okay, book ಎತ್ಕೊಂಡು ಎಲ್ಲ ಧೂಳೆಲ್ಲ ಕೊಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಓಪನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿರಲ್ಲ, ಅವಾಗ ಯಾವಪ್ಪ ಏನು ಅವಾಗ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಓ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಕೇಳಿದ್ರು ಟೈಮಲ್ಲಿ. ಓಕೆ, ಓಕೆ, ಸೆಕೆಂಡರಿ ಸಕ್ಸೆಷನ್. It is a succession which takes place on a site after the destruction of the original vegetation. After the destruction of the original vegetation. So it happens because of allogenic factors. Happens because of allogenic factors. What are allogenic factors? External factors. Okay. External factors like in bracket you can write forest fires, grazing, erosion, ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಮೆಥಡ್ ಇದೆ. Have you heard of Zoom cultivation, shifting cultivation? What is it? Why would they put fire? ಬೆಂಕಿ ಯಾಕೆ ಹಾಕ್ತಾರೆ? Slash and burn method. You call it with different names. ಏನದು? ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಮರಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗಿ ಬೀಡಿನ ಅದು ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಕಚ್ಚು ಏನಕ್ಕೆ ಕಚ್ಚೋದು ಏನಕ್ಕೆ ಅಂತ? ವೈ ವುಡ್ ದೇ ಡೂ ದಟ್? ಬೆಂಕಿ ಕಚ್ಚೋದು ಸಿರಪ್ ಬರಕ್ಕ? ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಫಾರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ there are some communities which are in northeast and it is to some extent followed in West Bengal, Odisha, Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, even in Karnataka, some places, some hilly areas, Western Ghats, not Western Ghats, Eastern Ghats, not in Karnataka, in Andhra Pradesh in Eastern Ghats and some parts in Western Ghats of Karnataka. So what do? They will select an area, okay, so they will clear the entire forest in that area, okay, they will burn it. They'll burn the entire area and they'll make it plain and they will start cultivating agriculture crops because these people are landless. They're landless people. They want to grow grains. They don't have fixed land, permanent land illa. So they'll cut down the forest, part of the forest. They will burn it and that burnt ash will act as a fertilizer. So they'll grow crops and crops when they're growing they'll not supplement the land with nutrition. They'll not add any additional fertilizers or manure. So whatever the nutrition which is there in the land, that nutrition will be absorbed by the plants. So these plants will give them grains and they will extract all the nutrition. So one crop, fine, 2 crops, 3 crops. After 3 crops, the entire land becomes nutritionless because all the nutrition is absorbed and stored in the form of grains. So they will harvest the grains, they will not add any fertilizer. So once they got to know that this area has become infertile, they will leave this land and they will occupy the next land. They will again do this, they'll do this, they'll do this, they'll do this. Okay. So they will leave. Once they do, they'll grow 2-3 crops, they'll go to the next land. So it's a cyclic process. Once all the area is complete, they'll come back to this area again. By this time, this would have been restored, regained, secondary succession would have happened, and it has all again become a complete forest. This is a method which they are following since thousands of years, generation after generation. They select area, burn, do that, then again they will leave that land as a fallow. That's called fallow land. The land which is left after cultivation of agriculture crops is called fallow land. So why do they burn? Because they want to clear the area for agriculture. That is the reason. It's a method of agriculture practice in Northeast. It's called shifting cultivation or slash and burn method. Okay, that's the thing, right? That's why it's called an allogenic succession, right? The plant communities which comes before the climax, the plant communities which comes before the climax are called as ceres or ceres or SERS, both. You can use both S or C. SERES. Okay. All right. This is secondary succession. Answer this. Grassland is a climax. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮತ್ತೆ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಆಗಲ್ಲ. It has reached the thing. Grasslands ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು soil ಇದೆಯೋ, that is the maximum improvement which can happen. Is desert a climax? Of course it's a climax. It has reached climax ಅಷ್ಟೇ. ಅದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ soil improvement ಸಾಧ್ಯ ಇಲ್ಲ. Why deserts will not turn into forest? There is some reasons which has made sure that the soil in the desert is kept at that level of nutrition. Suddenly monsoon changed and Rajasthan alli male barak shuru aaytu. What will happen? Soil will improvise, soil will become more nutritious, moisture barutte, organisms bartave, new plant life will come, secondary succession shuru agutte, and it will maybe Rajasthan become wild dense forest. But adagtilla, since millions of years that area is kept as a desert because the rainfall, the sunlight, the water scarcity, the kind of soil, the winds, so a lot of things have made sure that the soil condition there is kept as such. The plant communities are cactus, prickly pear, adene ashte iradu, it won't improve. Ade riti grasslands alli usually grass is one of the middle stage alla, starting pioneers, lichens ಬರ್ತವೆ, lichens ಬಂದ್ಮೇಲೆ herbs ಬರ್ತವೆ, herbs ಬಂದ್ಮೇಲೆ grass ಬರ್ತವೆ. Usually normal succession ನಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, forest ಇದೆ, forest ಅಲ್ಲೂ that area would somehow had seen this stage, grasses, but these grasses added more organic matter, soil improved and they were replaced by some other species and finally forest has become. But ಈಗ ಏನೇನು grasslands ಇದಾವೋ ಅದು grasslands ಆಗಿ ಉಳಿದಿವೆ, they are not turning into forest. Why? What is the reason? They do not replace the grasses as a part of ecological succession. Yake? Yeah, the reason. Who says A? Insects and fungus. Limited sunlight and paucity of nutrients. sunlight ಮತ್ತು nutrients. Water limits and fire, none of the above. This is a UPSC 2013 question. Who says A? B? B? C? D? Only Pooja answered, nobody answered, nobody dared to answer. Answer ಮಾಡಕ್ಕೂ ಡೇರಿಂಗ್ ಇರಬೇಕು. ನಾನು ಪನಿಷ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಕೊಡಲ್ಲ, ಹೇಳಿ ಪರವಾಗಿಲ್ಲ. Okay. So the answer is water limits and fire. Okay, there are three things which limit the soil from improving. ಎಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವು grasslands ನೋಡ್ತಿರೋ ಅಲ್ಲಲ್ಲಿ what you will find, you will see that that area will have low rainfall, that area will have frequent forest fires. Every year there will be fire incidences happening in the grasslands. Okay, and there will be lot of grazing animals. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸಾಯಿಲ್ ಇಂಪ್ರೂವ್ ಆಗೋಕ್ಕೆ ಆ ಹುಲ್ಲುಗಳು ಸಾಯಿಲ್ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಬಿದ್ದು ಕರಗಿ ಇಟ್ ಶುಡ್ ಇಂಪ್ರೂವ್ ದ ಸಾಯಿಲ್. ಆ ಹುಲ್ಲುಗಳು, ದ ಗ್ರಾಸಸ್, ಬಿಫೋರ್ ಇವನ್ ಫಾಲಿಂಗ್ ದೇ ಆರ್ ಈಟನ್ ಬೈ herbivorous animals, or they are burned by forest fires, or there is no good amount of water for improvement of the soil. ಈ ಮೂರು ಕಂಡೀಷನ್ ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ಇದ್ದೇ ಇದೆ. This is what is the thing, and after reading this question we have done this analysis. Why I keep on telling you about PYQ is same question again repeated in 2021 prelims. Concept same, but they have asked in a different manner. Read this. ಇಂಥ explanation ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೀವಲ್ವಾ ನಾವು. If somebody who is writing an exam in 2020 would have analyzed that PYQ of 2013 UPSC 2013, this question would be a 4-second, 5-second question for 5 seconds for her or him. Okay, 5 seconds only they would have completed this and moved ahead. Tell me, answer this. The vegetation of savanna consists of grasslands. ಅವಾಗ ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ನಾರ್ಮಲ್ grassland ಕೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ, temperate grassland. Now they are talking about tropical grassland, which is called savanna. Vegetation of savanna consists of grasslands with scattered small trees, but extensive areas have no trees. Forest development in such areas is generally kept in check by one or a combination of some conditions. Which of the following are conditions? Fire, burrowing animals, termites, fire, grazing herbivores, rainfall, soil properties. Who says A? B? 4 and 5. C? Obviously it is fire and rainfall. That's it. All this. So that's why grassland is a thing. But allali maragalidavalla, why is that? Why you can find scattered trees? Because that tree, yellow tree bandide, their succession would have happened. There maybe that year the grazing animal wouldn't have eaten that place, and maybe fire wouldn't have reached there, or some little extra water would have been there. So that areas immediately soil improvement aguto, the grasses are replaced by trees. But most of the places grasses are still grasses because no soil improvement has happened. Okay, soil improvement aad takshana immediately succession agutte. The trees are basically a part of succession. Shola forest anta kelidira Nilgiris alli. Tomorrow you tell me about Shola forest. What are Shola forest? Okay, we'll stop here. We'll continue tomorrow. We'll continue with the climax. Okay, so what is climax community and what are the different factors, and with climax the ecology will be complete. The community ecology will be complete. This succession, I am just thinking of one thing. imagine I'm starting an institution, I'm starting this, and I want to start the classes. So classes ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನೂ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಒಂದು ರೂಮ್ ಇದೆ ಅಷ್ಟೇ, ಬೋರ್ಡ್ ಗೀಡ್ ಏನೂ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಲೈಟ್ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಚೇರ್ಗಳಿಲ್ಲ, ನೆಲದಲ್ಲಿ ಕುತ್ಕೋಬೇಕು, ಎ ಸಿ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಏನೂ ಇಲ್ಲ. Okay, there's a barren land. So I started the classes. Nobody wants to come, but some students came and they were ready to listen to the lecture even sitting on the ground. They are pioneers. They came, they sat, they were listening to lectures. They gave me money. So I got money and I invested in, first chairs, okay, light. So chairs ಹಾಕಿದ ತಕ್ಷಣ some other people came, but they were little dominant. ಅವ್ರನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಓಡಿಸಿ ಹೋಗಪ್ಪ ಆಚೆ. ಮೊದಲು ಪೈನೀರ್ಸ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಓಡಿಸ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು they sat on the chair. But still there was like no much facilities. These people also gave me fees. A fees I put some light, I bought this board. Again some more people liked it. They came, they chased the other persons and they sat down. And hinge slowly, as and when new facilities started coming, some new group of students starts coming and they were sitting there. Now it has reached a stage where no more improvement is possible. There is camera, there is smart board, there is ACs, there is light, fan, speaker, computer, everything. What better can be done in this room? Nothing. This is the maximum improvement which it can happen. ಇದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇಂಪ್ರೂವ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ. It has reached the climax stage. ಇವಾಗ ಯಾರು ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಇರ್ತಾರೋ they are the climax community. Now no more new students is allowed inside. So ಇಲ್ಲಿ next ನಿಮ್ಮ ಸೀಟ್ನ replace ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂದರೆ only your kids can come and replace. No other persons are, so forget. Just try to compare ecological succession with ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಮ್ಯಾಚ್ ಆಯ್ತಾ, ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಾ? You got to know what is ecological succession. Okay, fine. See you tomorrow.